fat end certainly going to be longer than the skinny end. That's how you want it to end up, right, where the fat end shows. Now here's a good rule of thumb. There's usually a button somewhere about your sternum here, and if you line up the point on the little end somewhere in the near region of that, you're going to come out about right. Really depends on diameter of your neck. Guys like me and Adam, we have to start more right here, or we end up with a tie that's about this long. And so, you know, depending on the size of your neck or the absence thereof, you adjust that a little bit accordingly. But this first knot is called the 4-in-hand knot. All right, we're going to simply take the fat end, pass it across the skinny end just like so. I'm going to hold it right here with my finger to keep things from slipping. Now I'm going to bring the fat end back around behind the skinny end. I've got it here kind of perpendicular to my face. Then I'm going to flip this fat end over, still holding everything steady, and we're beginning to see what's going to look like a tie knot right here. And then I'm going to come up through the V, up through the neck hole with the fat end, loop it across, still keeping everything straight. And here's where it gets a little tricky, especially with an 8-inch goatee. You're going to tuck this down through the front loop, the fat end through the front loop, holding the tail of the skinny end still with your hand while you gently snug this up, pull your beard out of it, and then you've got your knot. This is a super skinny tie, and zip, we're going to tighten it right up, and there it is. See, I started just a little bit longer for demonstration purposes. When I start with the tie, I have to put it way up here because I got no neck. So anyhow, that's the 4-in-hand knot. Now the 4-in-hand knot doesn't make the most beautiful knot, but it makes an acceptable knot. You know, I go home a few weeks ago, and I didn't take a tie with me, so I borrowed a tie from my father-in-law. And whenever he got them all out of the closet, they're all hanging there in a loop with a knot on them. He's got like 5 ties, and he says, "All right, pick whichever one you want." So I put it on and just tighten it up, and it's up about right here because he's a small guy. And so anyhow, I said, all right, I'm going to have to untie this thing, retie it. When I untie it, it's the most terrible, gnarled up looking crap right here on every tie that he's got. It just looks terrible. And my mother-in-law did eventually iron it out to get it looking good. So you leave your tie tied and you pull it loose and you push it back up. It looks terrible under there. So you need to be able to tie your tie. All right, let me show you one other knot. Now this knot is called the 4-in-hand. No, this knot is called the half Windsor. There's other knots, as a matter of fact. That 4-in-hand is the most simple knot. This is called the half Windsor knot. It takes even more tie. You should pick one that's super long. I don't know which one's any longer than the others. But it takes more tie to tie a more complex knot than it does to tie that simple knot. So once again, I'm starting with fat end in my right hand, skinny end in my left hand. I put it around my neck. And the first little bit is very similar. I'm going to go fat end across the skinny end right here, right? Okay, then I'm going to bring fat end back behind, just like I did before, right? Okay, now here's where it gets a little bit different. I'm going to bring this end up around the knot, like so. And see, I'm creating this V. On the right side, I come from the outside in, and now this has got the back side facing me. The back side facing the mirror, actually, facing you now. I'm going to bring this across the front of the knot, just like I did before, up through the neck hole, and then back down through that small front loop. And you'll see this will be a pretty short tie job right here. But the knot, as you can tell, is a little more substantial than the knot on that 4-in-hand. It gives you a little bit of a fuller, more beautiful knot. You see, that's short.
Can you do the full Windsor?
Well, it's just wrapping both sides to make a full Windsor, but there's not a tie in this world that's long enough for me to do a full Windsor around my neck. And so anyhow, the only difference between that one and the 4-in-hand was you're going up on the outside at one point, and it shows you the back. All right, so what I have for you here is, how about this picture? You know about Mormons? You know what Mormons have to do? Here's a couple of Mormon, they call them elders, even though they're only like 18 or 19. After they graduate high school, they have to go at least a year on a mission where they pedal bicycles around Alabama trying to convert you to being a Mormon.
Is that those people riding around with those little black tags?
That's
That's our neighbors.
Yeah, I thought they were Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, some of them are. Some of them are. Jehovah's Witnesses do essentially the same thing. But if their tag says elder something or another, then they're a Mormon. So anyhow, Mormons, interesting group, hard-working people, very dedicated. This is the 4-in-hand knob. Now, right there are your directions. What I'm going to do is pass out some beautiful tiles. For being the cameraman, you get first choice.
Oh, trout.
There you go. Take one. Yeah, that's a nice one. That one's almost back in style.
Do we keep videoing?
That's a horse tie. Yeah, please do for just a minute. I'll take it from you whenever you start to tie your tie. Jeremy?
Chicken.
Pigs.
Pigs, okay.
Yep. Just as good though. There is a Santa Claus playing drums in there. Absolutely.
I caught my eye.
That's a nice tie.
Matches.
One. Oh, I love that floral pattern right there.
Yes, I get the feminine.
Pink paisleys. Little pink and purple paisleys. All right, yeah. Oh, and the sports theme. I'm with you. Got this classic black. Yep, I'll get that in just a second. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and give it a shot. The 4-in-hand instructions are right here on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. So you're starting out with the fat end, much longer than the short end, or the skinny end, coming down to about your spleen or sternum or whatever that is. I don't know, medical terms.
See, you always have a problem sometimes.
Always,
Sometimes I follow.
yeah, always, and I've